There's a specific kind of joke that's been running in Australia for over a decade. You mention Red Rooster, and someone immediately asks the same question. Does anyone actually eat there? It's become a punchline so reliable that entire comment sections exist just repeating it, half convinced the chain is some kind of elaborate front for money laundering, because how else does a restaurant with an empty parking lot stay open nationwide? Most brands would panic under that kind of ridicule. Most brands would launch a defensive ad campaign, hire a crisis PR firm, beg the internet to stop. Red Rooster did neither. It just kept going. And somewhere in the last few years, without any of the noise you'd expect from a brand trying to save itself, the joke quietly stopped being true. So what happens when a company gets mocked into irrelevance for a decade, refuses to fight back, and ends up more relevant than the people making fun of it? To understand why the joke stung at all, you have to know what Red Rooster actually meant to Australians before it became one. Back in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't a punchline, it was a fixture. Road trips with the family meant a stop at Red Rooster for chicken and chips. Local footy teams piled in after weekend games, still in their muddy uniforms. The menu never tried to impress anyone. Roast chicken, hot chips, dinner rolls, gravy, coleslaw, nothing groundbreaking. And that was the entire point. People weren't chasing a trend. They were chasing something dependable, something that felt distinctly local in a fast food landscape increasingly filled with imported chains. For a long time, that formula didn't need defending. It just worked, quietly, the same way it had for years. But the ground underneath that formula started shifting fast in the early 2000s. KFC exploded with aggressive marketing and deep-fried everything in sight. Nando's carved out its own spicy niche. Gourmet burgers and street food culture surged in, and suddenly plain roast chicken felt like it belonged to a different decade entirely. Red Rooster didn't chase any of it. While competitors expanded, rebranded, and fought loudly for attention, Red Rooster seemed to fade into the background almost on purpose. Stores looked a little more run down each year. The menu barely moved. And public perception shifted from solid Aussie food to something closer to confusion. Wait, that place still exists? That confusion is exactly what curdled into the joke everyone still repeats today. Here's the part that makes this whole story strange. Despite years of empty parking lots and an entire internet subculture questioning its existence, Red Rooster never shut down. It never collapsed, never sold out to some international conglomerate looking to strip it for parts. It just stayed, quietly, steadily. Which, in an industry where struggling chains usually do one of those two things, was already unusual on its own. And the joke itself never actually went away. If anything, it got louder as the years went on. People weren't being cruel about it anymore. They were genuinely baffled. How does a chain, with almost no visible foot traffic, keep operating nationwide? That question turned into content. It turned into recurring bits on social media, entire threads dedicated to spotting an actual customer inside one. What almost nobody clocked while that joke kept circulating is that the company was quietly rewriting itself behind the scenes. Updated food, a refined delivery model, a slow rethink of what the brand was even trying to be. None of it came with an announcement. It just started showing up, one visit at a time, for anyone still curious enough to check. So, what actually changed underneath all that mockery? The menu got a real upgrade. The classic roast chicken stayed, but now sitting alongside crispy fried chicken, chicken burgers, loaded chips, and limited edition items that genuinely looked worth ordering. Small shift on paper, but a big deal in a country where takeout culture keeps accelerating and expectations keep rising with it. The bigger move, though, was recognizing exactly why those parking lots looked empty in the first place. Most Red Rooster locations were built to serve suburbs and families, not walk-in foot traffic, and people in those areas were always more likely to order from their couch than dine in. So instead of fighting that reality, Red Rooster leaned all the way into it, going all in on delivery years before it became the industry standard, essentially running ghost kitchens with real storefronts attached. The empty dining room wasn't a failure. It was the strategy working exactly as designed. Then there's the part almost nobody expected. The mockery itself became free marketing. Every "does anyone actually eat there" joke kept the name circulating, and every time a curious person finally gave it a try and found the food was actually solid, that joke quietly flipped into word of mouth. Red Rooster never fought back with a defensive ad campaign or a cheeky clapback. It just let the food speak, made slow, consistent improvements, and let curiosity do the recruiting, and timing did the rest. As KFC started drawing more criticism for inconsistent quality and dry chicken, Red Rooster suddenly looked steady by comparison. Not flashy, not trying to be American or urban cool, just reliably serving the same suburban comfort food it always had. In a fast food landscape constantly reinventing itself, that stubbornness turned out to be the actual advantage. So is this comeback built to last? Or just a lucky moment where the internet's attention happened to swing back in its favor? Hard to say for certain. The same delivery-first model that quietly saved Red Rooster also means it will always look emptier in person than a chain leaning on foot traffic, which means the jokes probably never fully disappear, even as the business underneath keeps improving. But picture where this actually goes, if the pattern holds. A brand that spent a decade being Australia's punchline, slowly becoming the suburban default again. Not because it outmarketed anyone, but because it simply outlasted the mockery long enough for the food to catch up with the joke. That's not a comeback built on a viral moment. That's one built on refusing to react. There's something almost stubborn about a brand that lets itself be the punchline for 10 years without ever trying to defend itself. No panic, no rebrand chasing relevance, no desperate ad campaign begging people to reconsider. Just a slow, unglamorous decision to get better while everyone was busy laughing. So next time you pass that red and white sign, or scroll past it on a delivery app, maybe don't keep swiping. The joke had a decade-long head start. The chicken finally caught up. So here's the real question worth sitting with. How many other brands are out there right now, quietly getting better, while the internet keeps repeating a joke that stopped being true years ago? Are you someone who's actually eaten at a Red Rooster recently? Or are you still team, does anyone actually go there? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We genuinely want to hear it. And if you're into stories about brands that win by simply refusing to react, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.